Hello, 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 hello. Happy Thursday evening and welcome to Veganish. I am your host, Dr. Monique, the physician in the kitchen, board certified family physician who is welcoming you to follow me on my journey toward a more plant-based diet. I'm so happy to be with you once again. If it's Thursday, that means it's time for Veganish, so we're going to get into it. How are you doing, Mr. Ellis? How are you today?
I am doing great. I am excited. We've been off a couple of weeks for a myriad of reasons, but I'm excited to be back, and so I'm hoping to see some of our regulars and some of our new folks,
Yes,
joining
definitely.
us. So pipe in, let us know where you're watching from.
That's right. That's right. Yes, we do rep your city. Rep your city, rep your zip code, rep your country, rep your continent, wherever you're watching us from. We thank you. You could be doing anything else with your 30 minutes, but we appreciate that you are spending time with us. First up is Ohio. Tina in Ohio. It's so funny, right? Because it's usually either the Midwest, it's like we kind of go neck and neck. We either get the Midwest or the West Coast or the East Coast. So Ohio wins tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this live, or now that you're watching it live, go ahead and tap somebody, say, come on in this house and fellowship with us. We are giving some good information, and we love to just share stories here and talk about ways that we can move toward a more plant-based diet. So, all right, Maryland's in the house, New Mexico. I love it. I love it. So for a few housekeeping things or just some kind of in the news kind of thing. So, it's December. And as Ella said, we've kind of, been apart because, this month you blink and it's gone, right? It is
Mhm.
gone. So it's already 17 days till Christmas. So I hope it's crazy. It's crazy. And for me, it's double crazy because my son's birthday is Monday. He's the 12. And so I've
Okay.
got birthday, then Christmas. And so, but I hope you all are taking time in the midst of all the hustle and bustle. Please, please, please take time to recharge yourself. We talked a few weeks ago about how to get through the holidays without the bloat and without the regret, right, of overdoing or overindulging. So please take care of yourself. Hydrate. I've got my water. Hydrate because
Also in the party season, COVID is still out there.
COVID,
So
we have the
yeah,
triple demic. It's not just
yeah,
COVID.
yeah, so we got flu numbers are going up. We've got RSV out there, and we got COVID. So
Yeah.
please protect yourself. Go out. I mean, I'm not telling you not to go out and have fun, but what I'm saying is protect yourself. Wear a mask. If you feel comfortable getting vaccinated, get vaccinated. But please protect yourself because we don't want to lose anybody in 2020.
No, we want to go into 2023 strong. And speaking of protecting an immune system and all that, I a week ago was a World AIDS Day, and so we had some wonderful programming on for that. But it was also National Eat a Red Apple Day. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I'm gonna mark my calendar. So next year I've got my red apple ready to go. But I wanted to share with you some of the. I mean, we always heard that apple a day keeps the doctor away, and so there might be some scientific proof to that. But some of the health benefits of red apples: great source of vitamin C, which is great for your immune system. Right? Talking about eating the whole apple, like the skin as well, because there's a lot of health benefits in the skin of fruits that have edible skins, fruits and vegetables that have edible skins. Of course, it contains soluble and insoluble. Oh, am I frozen? Okay. Contains fiber. It has anti-inflammatory properties, increases brown fat. We talked about that before. That's the fat that's like a little bit more metabolically active. And
Mhm.
so that's a better kind of fat for us to carry. Improves bone density, and it improves your metabolism by increasing calorie burn. So all good things. Um, this nutritionist that I'm quoting actually does recommend um, organic when you can. So, sometimes you go in the store and you're like, what should I spend the money on, right? Because organic is usually much more expensive.
Right.
And so apples are one of the ones that some people recommend you splurge and get the organic. So, but make sure to
So
wash them off.
was she talking about red apples, or can I get my Granny Smith? I like
Well,
Granny
this article specifically is National Eat a Red Apple Day.
red
There may be a green apple day. But if you get an apple, if whatever color you want, yellow, green, red,
I
get an
just like
apple.
the tartness of the Granny Smith. It's just something about that
Yeah,
part.
I'm
Yeah.
not a. I don't like that, but I just made my dad for Thanksgiving. I made him an apple pie from scratch, and so we use Golden Delicious apples for that. But sometimes people put a little, Granny Smith in there to bump up the flavor a little bit. But anyway, now mark your calendars for next year. December 1st, National Eat a Red Apple Day. So let's see who has come on in here. We've got Chicago, we've got New Jersey, Queens, New York. That's where my people are from. And another Queens. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. I've got family in Jamaica, Laurelton, Queens. So thank you so much for watching. Well, this is the fastest 30 minutes of my day. So we're going to get into the topic for today. And I've got my lovely assistant, not Vanna White, who is going to share the slides. So I came across this article and I was like, I think this is something really good to talk about because A, people may not have heard about it, or B, they've heard about it, but they don't really know what it is. So it's my job to introduce you to more plant-based sources. And the key thing too is variety, right? Because you don't want to get in a rut. When you're trying to make changes in your diet or make lifestyle changes, one of the killers of success is St. Albans, Queens. I love it. If one of the killers of success is the rut, the monotony, people feel like they're doing the same thing. If I have to eat one more bowl of rice, I'm going to hurt somebody, right? So by introducing you to this food, to these ancient grains, this hopefully will be something you can put in your pantry and you can kind of start to add into your rotation. Because I've been experimenting with a couple of these, and I have to say I've been pleasantly surprised. So we're gonna get into that. So 7 ancient grains you should know, according to Dr. Monique. And hopefully you will develop or discover a new one, a new favorite, at least one, and start to incorporate that. So let's just kind of do a quick overview of kind of what's so important about these grains. So they're called ancient. Does anybody know why they're ancient? I mean, the answer is there, but I didn't know that. They're called ancient because they've been grown the same way for hundreds and hundreds of years. So they're not genetically modified. They're not bred, or engineered. So that's why they're called ancient, because they're intact from what they were like before, versus certain corns and rices and the way our food is produced now. They, as a class, tend to raise your good cholesterol, your HDL, and lower your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, which are blood fats that we get from our food. California is here, Florida is here, Houston, Texas is here. Love, love, love it. Thank you all so, so much. They contain more fiber, B vitamins, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids than processed or refined grains. Because remember, we talked about before, that outer bran gets stripped off, and that's where all those nutrients are. So when you got your white rice, your processed grains, all that's being stripped away, and that contains those B vitamins, fatty acids. And so when you're getting the whole grains, you're getting that as well. Because of that, they help prevent chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and diabetes, inflammation in general. And when you're making your plate, because we talked about a healthy plate before. So, a 9-inch plate for adults, 7-inch for children. But if you're trying to cut back, as an adult, you can certainly do a 7-inch plate. About a quarter of your plate would be comprised of these complex starchy grains. And they can be used in a variety of things, from appetizers to desserts to salads to smoothies, risotto. Some of them do well in a risotto. And because they're complex and have high fiber content, they can help you feel full longer, which leads to less snacking and eating. And guess what? Can lead to weight control. So lots of great benefits. Of course, asterisk, if you have gluten issues, then some of these may not be for you, but we're going to talk about some that are gluten-free. So, Ellis, are you ready to get into it? What questions? I see that brain spinning.
I'm ready. I'm ready. No, this is good, because I do need to kind of, my last exam, my cholesterol was a little high. So I'm liking to hear that this could lower the bad and elevate the good. So I am really excited about hearing that. So I'm going to eat some of these grains. I'm going to make some bread or something. I got to figure out how to incorporate it, but
it's and as we go through it, I hope you'll see it's not as hard as you may think. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. We're going to talk about 7. Now, there are more than 7, but these were the ones that I found, and we'll talk about what these are. So the first one is spelt. So this one, it provides essential micronutrients such as iron, magnesium, and zinc. And this is really important because people sometimes think, oh, again, if I'm eating a plant-based diet or a vegetarian diet, am I going to get enough protein? Am I going to get enough iron? Am I going to get enough calcium? And so these are, when you look at these, think of, these are great ways to make sure I'm getting all these micronutrients or macronutrients that I need. So again, it's rich in antioxidants, which are going to help with the chronic disease. And the taste is kind of nutty. And most of these are going to have like a nutty taste, kind of sweet. It can be a little sweet and similar to a whole wheat. But this one does contain gluten. So for my celiac folks out there, my gluten intolerant, this one is not for you. But do not lose hope. We got you. We got you. But this one does have gluten in it. And as you can see here, per 1/2 cup serving, because these are carbs, right? So you do want to keep that in mind, that the calories associated with carbs, but it has 26 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber, and 5 grams of protein. So that's actually pretty good. If you're trying to, again, getting towards your protein intake for the day as a vegan or a vegetarian, this is a good source to have on hand. All right, that brings us to bulgur. So bulgur, again, has a nutty taste, a chewy texture. And
names these things, man.
I don't know. But remember, they're ancient. They've been around for a long time. So, the country they were found in or something, I don't know. But yeah, these are not my names. So
oh wow. So we lost out. So yeah, her connection is we'll get her back. But yeah, while we bulgur. Wow. But look at, I'm thinking in terms of if you're eating an overall plant-based or strictly vegetarian diet, you've noticed in each one of these grains, there is protein, right? So a lot of times people say, you become a vegan, you cannot get the protein. Well, guess what? You can get the protein from these grains. And so as we got Doc back,
the devil is busy. My main computer died earlier today, and now the internet is acting up. But we're gonna keep going. If I have to jump on my phone, I will. So bulgur is next. It tastes nutty, chewy texture, and this one actually cooks faster than some of the other grains. And that's something I have to remind myself, because I have texture issues. And so if you're cooking these and expecting them to feel like white rice, it's not the same, because again, right. white rice has had all this outer fibrous fibrous material stripped away. So these have the fiber, and so you do want to cook these a little longer. But bulgur actually cooks pretty quickly. It helps to lower the cholesterol, helps with blood pressure, and because it does have high fiber content, can help with constipation and help prevent hemorrhoids, because hemorrhoids are often caused by straining. And so does anybody actually, let me ask a quick question. Does anybody know what hemorrhoids are? What are hemorrhoids? Like, what are they, like, anatomically? What is a hemorrhoid?
My mother used to call me a hemorrhoid when I was growing up. So I knew it was bad.
Put in the chat who knows what an actual hemorrhoid is? I think you'll be surprised. Any takers? Any takers out there? Bueller? Hemorrhoids are actually veins. They're actually veins. And so what happens through constipation and straining and obesity, things that increase the intra-abdominal pressure, it dilates those veins in the rectal, in the anal area. So they are actually, yes, inflammation of blood vessels. So good job. All right. So bulgur, this one has less carbs, fewer carbs. So 17 grams, 4 grams of fiber, and 3 grams of protein.
Y'all are smart. Everybody.
They are.
I hope y'all not experiencing. Y'all just know what it is. I hope y'all didn't experience a hemorrhoid.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to. They're not pleasant. They're not pregnant. Pregnant women who've had them, they can tell you they're not pleasant. Next is barley, and so this one folks may have heard of because beer, right?
Yes, beer, this is one I didn't know this one.
Yes, because of the beer. But again, this one has a sweet, slightly nutty taste with a chewy texture. And this one is interesting because this one actually they recommend you might want to soak this one because it'll help your body absorb the nutrients it contains a little bit better. Great source for multiple vitamins and amino acids. 22 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber, and 2 grams of protein.
Yep.
So barley is another one to keep in mind. But again, this one has gluten. So if you are have gluten issues, you don't want to. This one would not be one for you. Farro. Now I've actually had this one in a salad. I got at a restaurant. I've not cooked it myself, but farro is a good one. It tastes like cashews. It's got like a cashew taste, chewy texture, and again, great option for wanting to bump up your protein because this one has 5 grams per half cup of serving. And a way to serve it would be with beans or tofu to make a complete meal to get those all those amino acids that you need to build protein and muscle. And so 27 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber, and 5 grams of protein.
That's good.
And the
That's
good
good
thing
amount of
about
protein.
that's a good amount of protein. Yeah.
Yep.
And the good thing about these, I mean, think about if you're looking at meatless options like mushrooms, tofu, as we mentioned, a lot
Mhm.
of these blend very well to those. And of course, you can use whatever variety of spices or seasonings to really bring out or complement um, the flavor.
Now,
Let's,
correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it's like an 8 ounce chicken breast has 20 grams of protein.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know the facts of chicken off the top of my head because, I'm plant based. But I would have to look that up. But yeah, and that's kind of, you bring up a good point though, because that's kind of what we've been conditioned um, over the years is that you can only get adequate amounts of protein from eating animal sources. And so, that's we know now that that's not necessarily true. There's lots of great protein sources in the plant world. Did someone said, unfortunately, some expected mothers experience hemorrhoids. Yes, 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 yes. Not fun at all.
So
So,
four ounces of chicken breast. Sorry, I just looked it up. 4 ounces of raw, boneless, skinless chicken breast yields about 3 ounces of cooked chicken or 21 grams of protein. So you're
okay,
looking at about the same serving size. You're going to get more in chicken, but I mean it's meat. But this is comparable. And
right.
if you want to eat a meatless diet, it does. It's like it's not protein less. And I think a lot of people say when they hear grains and things like that, they think it's protein less. And all of these grains that we've been talking about today have an amount of protein in them.
Right. And I do want to say too, yes, they are high in carbs, but remember, it's the good kind of carbs, right? It's the complex carbs that, if you recall back to the beginning, when your body has to break down those carbs.
I'm sorry, Rosemary. Yeah.
Okay, proven plant based. Exactly. Thank you, Rosemary. Some of the largest elephants, right? Largest animals on the planet are, they eat grass, they eat trees. So yes, but no, but what I was saying is earlier in the presentation we talked about how these carbs can help with blood sugar control
Yeah.
and satiety. And so that's satiety, which is where you feel full and you stop eating. This the signals in your brain into your stomach to say, okay, enough. Um, these complex carbs are good with that because your body works to break them down and you get a sustained release of energy, of fuel, of glucose versus these spikes that you get with simple or processed sugar. So keep that in mind. All right, we've got up next is quinoa.
All right.
This is
I've heard this one too. Yeah, quinoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite. If y'all have watched me enough, I've said quinoa at least once. I love quinoa. I
Or as
make
the
it with
commercial says, quinoa.
it did take me a while to learn how to pronounce it because I was like, what are we doing here? But yes, I love quinoa. It has a nutty taste. It is gluten free, and it also is a complete protein because it contains all of the essential amino acids that we need. But essential just means we can't make it ourselves. Our bodies cannot make it, and we have to get it from an external food source. So that's where quinoa comes in. I have recipes in my book, Doc Fix My Plate, ranging from breakfast to savory dishes with quinoa because it's really a great, and it cooks pretty quickly. It cooks in about 10 to 12 minutes.
Oh yeah, it cooks fast.
Huh?
I said, yeah, it cooks fast. So
It cooks fast. Cooks fast.
I get it
Um,
with like I said, brown rice and quinoa blend. I buy a small box of that, and it cooks in about, like you said, about 10 minutes. I always short the time because when I try
mhm.
to cook it the first time on the box, it's scorched. So you got to be
Right.
careful. Don't let that box tell you. Shorten that time about 2 or 3 minutes, and then watch it.
Well, it also too depends on how high you're cooking it and how much water or liquid you have in there too. But
Oh yeah, I followed the directions, but
it still was too much. Yeah. Quinoa, you do want to rinse it. I do rinse mine first, but then it's high in magnesium and it also helps your body absorb calcium. And here you see, this one's coming in on the lower end for carbs, about the same amount of fiber, but 4 grams of protein. So, and it is one of my personal, as I said, I love it. All right, what's up next? So we've got
oh yeah,
buckwheat.
buckwheat. That's not the
Now,
dude that's Little
not
Rascal.
the guy from, and I did not know, but buckwheat. That was like, I always thought it was a racist name for a dark skinned little boy on the Little Rascals. Did not know. Oh, Rosemary, it's Doc Fix My Plate, not God. And actually, if we can put that up, it's Doc Fix My Plate, and actually go to docfixmyplatebook.com and you can get it directly from me, and it'll be autographed. If you get it from Amazon, it's not autographed. But we'll put that up for you. But docfixmyplatebook.com. Thank you. So God definitely helped me write the book, but it's not in the title of the book.
He's in the forward. He wrote the
All
introduction.
things flow from him, but the name of the book is Doc Fix My Plate. But thank you for that. But yeah, so buckwheat is actually a misnomer. So first, it has a slight, bitter. This one has a bitter and nutty taste, but it's actually not a wheat. So people who have gluten issues can actually eat this one. It is gluten free. So despite the name, buckwheat is not a wheat, and it is gluten. It is gluten intolerant friendly. It's more like a
Mm.
seed, in fact. And this one actually contains prebiotics, which help your gut bacteria, the good
Yeah.
bacteria in your gut. There's been a lot more research and evidence lately about the connection, like the brain gut connection and the biome, which is like basically the environment of the gut, the role the bacteria plays. And that's why, when you go to the doctor for a cold and the doctor says, well, no, I don't want to give you antibiotics because it's a virus, taking antibiotics unnecessarily can affect the good bacteria in your gut, and
Yeah.
that can lead to problems. So this buckwheat has a prebiotic that helps the environment be friendly toward those good bacteria. And again, the high fiber content helps with prevent constipation and reduce bad cholesterol levels.
Now, how would you prepare buckwheat?
So all of these are prepared pretty much the same way. Usually it's about 2 to 1 as far as liquid to 2 to 1 ratio as far as liquid. It can be anywhere from 1.5 to 2 to 2.25 or so parts liquid to water. A pressure cooker is a great way to cook these. Some of these that
Oh,
have a longer cooking time, like purple rice, or any of these that you want to break down a little quicker. Because on the stove it could be 20, 30, 40 minutes, but your pressure cooker can help cut that down, cut some of that time down. But yeah,
oh.
good question. And use broth. I recommend using stock, vegetable stock, if you do chicken stock, but use stock when you can versus water, and throw a couple of bay leaves in there to really, bump up that flavor that
I
you.
like a bay leaf.
Hmm?
I mess with a bay leaf.
You
Yep.
don't mess with bay leaves?
No, I love them. I love them. I
Oh,
got
okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
a
bay
big jar
leaves
of bay leaf. Oh yeah,
Bay leaves
fantastic.
are they can go in just about anything. Just remember to take them out before you serve the food.
Oh yeah,
So
true story. Our freshman year, I was at FAMU. Of course, y'all know what's FAM, and I'm going in the cafeteria get food. The first time I ever got introduced to a bay leaf, and it was lasagna, and it was a big bay leaf in there, and I said, "There's a bay leaf." I said, "There's a leaf in my food." Like I'm going in. I'm going in, and I never forget the guy said, "It's a bay leaf, son. It's a bay leaf."
but why did he serve it to you? That shouldn't have been on your plate.
They shouldn't have left it in there, but that was
No.
my first
Well,
introduction
at
to
least
bay
you
leaf.
learned what it was, but hopefully you
I
didn't
love
try
it.
to eat it because they're not meant to
No,
be.
no, no, you can't eat it. No. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
don't eat it. But it's great. It's great flavor.
All right. And so what I think we've got one more left. I've lost count. Where are we?
Yeah, I
Or
think
is
we
that
got
it?
one.
Is that the end of the list?
No, we
And,
got one
oh,
more.
millet. No, this is my new favorite. Millet has a mildly sweet taste and a slightly creamy texture. So I made some of this the other night. You asked, I put some of this in my slow cooker, not the pressure cooker, but a slow cooker, a
Mhm.
crock pot, and about an hour and a half. So this was a great way to meal prep. I was like, well, I'm going to try this for breakfast. So let me make it the night before. So I put it in, and it had this creamy, kind of almost like porridge like texture. This one is gluten free and provides the most calcium out of any of the grains. 344 milligrams per 100 grams. 100 grams, I think, is maybe about a cup, I think, half a cup somewhere in there. So good amount of calcium. 21 grams of carbs, not a high fiber content for this one, mediocre for the protein. But this was delicious. I put some vanilla and some maple syrup with it, and it was really good. So this is my new favorite millet, and it's also
Really?
got a good amount of magnesium as well, which is a mineral which is helpful for bones and nerves and things like that. Were you going to say something?
Yeah. Well, there's a question. Rosemary has a good question. Put it on screen there.
Which of these are good to blend with veggie patties? Great question. I that's a really good question. I would think probably the buckwheat would be good. You because when you're doing veggie patties, you want things that kind of hold their texture and can help be kind of like a binder, right? So I would think the millet and maybe even the I'm sorry, the buckwheat and maybe the I think sorghum, which we're going to mention, we're not really going to discuss, but sorghum might be another one to use. I use actually purple rice as a binder in my veggie patties. There's a recipe in the book, and so, but that's no, that's a great question. Just natural plug there. I can't help it. All right, so we're coming up on our time. I told you this half hour goes so fast. Um, we do have a few honorable mentions as well. Let's see. I think we've gotten through the main set. So yes, so amaranth, which is to me, it's kind of similar to millet. It's a smaller grain and cooks pretty quickly. Sorghum, chia seeds, a great egg replacer. This would be great, Rosemary, in a binder as for your veggie patties. Think about some chia seeds. They take on like a eggy like texture, like flax seeds. Chia seeds have an eggy like texture. In fact, they call them chegs. Cheggs, when you add water to them, so that could be used as a binder for your veggie patties. And oats work as a binder as well. Think about oats. I know your mom put oats in your meatloaf when you were growing up. She was using that as a binder. So that's another one. And then something called teff, which I don't know anything about, but it's an ancient grain. So
Chef,
hopefully, what'd you say?
Chef, these names. Yeah. So
I
so I heard somebody talking the other day, and they were talking about eating chia, and they said they eat a lot of it. They sprinkle it in their smoothies and all of. Oh, we lost it. So I'll tell the story without that. So and they sprinkled their chia in the thing, and they said the one thing they have to get used to is it looks like it's moving sometimes, and so that can be a little bit disturbing because it can look like little bugs. So you have to kind of get over that piece. But chia is supposed to be very, very good for you. And so yeah, so chia is good. I was telling them I saw somebody talking about eating chia, and they said that it looks like it's moving sometimes when you sprinkle it on things. The chia does, and they said it made.
Tea is actually a great way to increase your omega-3. It's a good source of fatty acids as well. Thank you, Marcus. I look forward to getting one out to you. Rosemary, does that before we sign off, I just want to make sure that I answer her question about options for veggie patties. And if you do, Rosemary, and everyone, please follow me on all social at Physician in the Kitchen. But Rosemary, please tag me when you make your burger, your veggie patty. I would love to see kind of what you've come up with as well. But yes, you can find me at docfixmyplatebook.com. And also, I have launched my new course, Plant-Based Your Pantry, kind of wearing my plant-based for the culture, keep it 100 plant-based. So if you want more information on how to stock your pantry, how to read labels, what's the difference between vegan and plant-based, got you covered. So go on over to plantbaseyourpantry.com and sign up for my online course. We're running a holiday special, only $47 through the end of the year for a 1 hour course. So hope to see you there. So Deborah said, Dr. Monique's suggestion for breakfast besides grits, oatmeal. So the millet is great. The quinoa, those are two of my favorites for breakfast. The buckwheat I have not had for breakfast, but that millet and quinoa, and actually go back to the beginning real quick, Ellis, if you don't mind. Yeah, like I said, farro I have had more in cereal, in excuse me, in salad. Bulgur you probably could do too, but the two I love are the quinoa and my new favorite is that millet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about millet because it kind of looked like some hominy grits. So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe and but when you said you put some sweet stuff in it, I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
It has they say it has a mildly sweet taste. I don't appreciate it, but I did a little bit of the maple syrup because that's how I do my quinoa.
Okay.
But that's every you play with it and see what flavors work for your palate. So we are at our time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you all kind of learned something new or just maybe discover something you want to and enjoy your holidays. Oh, did we get kicked off?
Yeah, yeah,
Are we?
you're chopping.
This is just
Marcus,
cutting up
Marcus,
tonight.
yeah, and Marcus, if you're still watching on YouTube, Marcus, let us know how that 3 years of being plant based has helped in terms of has an impact on your health. So we'd love to hear that information because we want to
Definitely.
encourage people to eat a more plant
And
based diet.
congratulations to you too for being.
Happy anniversary, and so we want to give some positive
Yes.
stories. So we'll be back next week, and so let us know how the 3 years has been for you. Because I'm
So
really moving towards more plant based in my diet.
thank you, Tina. I'm so glad that this was helpful to you. The course will definitely help if you got questions about becoming vegan. I sign up on my website at drmoniquemay.com and you can get added to my email list because I send recipes and tips on how to transition your diet. But I won't be with you guys next week. I'm going out for the holidays, so I won't be with you next week. But look forward to seeing you after that. You guys be safe, enjoy, and happy belated Founders Day to Mr. Ellis for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Take care.